the magnetic pull you didn't ask for. Have you ever walked into a room and noticed people glance your way for no clear reason? Maybe someone starts talking to you in line at the store, or strangers open up to you with surprising ease. They don't know you. You haven't done anything particularly different, but they're drawn to you, almost like you have this invisible magnet inside your soul. And here's the truth, you do. You have a presence that speaks before your mouth does. There's an energy that surrounds you, a quiet force that reaches people before you even introduce yourself. Most of the time, you don't notice it because you're just being yourself. You're not putting on a show, you're not trying to be noticed. But that's exactly why people notice. There's something powerful about someone who isn't trying too hard. Someone who moves through life with authenticity. Someone who radiates an energy that says, I know who I am. People can feel when you're real. In a world full of filters, masks, and performances, authenticity is rare, and rare things are always valuable. You don't chase approval. You don't bend to fit into every space. You carry yourself with quiet confidence, and that makes others feel something they can't explain. They may not even know why they want to be near you, but they do. And sometimes that confuses them. It intimidates them, because you aren't loud, but your presence is. And let's be honest, there's a loneliness that comes with that kind of energy. When people are drawn to you but don't understand you, it can create a strange distance. They want to be around your light, but they may not know how to handle its intensity. They admire your calm, but they might not see the storms you've weathered to earn it. You've been through fire, and yet you didn't burn. You became refined. Your aura holds the weight of your growth, the echoes of your resilience, and the depth of your self-awareness. That's why people stare a little longer. That's why some feel comforted around you, even if they just met you. You have something they want, not in a material sense, but in a soulful sense. Peace, purpose, presence. And here's the most important part. You don't have to do anything to keep this magnet alive. You already are it. You don't need to try harder. You just need to continue being exactly who you are. Because while they may not be able to name what draws them to you, you'll always know. It's your light. It's your truth. And truth always shines, even in silence. Your energy speaks louder than words. Long before you say a word, before you offer a smile, a handshake, or even make eye contact, your energy introduces you. And while most people try to impress with what they say, you impress without speaking. That's because your energy speaks for you. It's subtle, it's silent, but it's powerful. People feel your vibe even if they can't explain it. It's not about how you look, dress, or carry yourself physically. It's about what's going on inside of you. You've done the inner work. You've faced your fears. You've chosen growth over comfort, truth over illusion, and healing over hiding. That effort radiates. The peace you've built inside you becomes a frequency, and others can feel it. You may not notice it often, but you shift the atmosphere just by entering a room. Conversations soften, tensions relax, people lean in. Why? Because your energy feels like safety. You're not pretending to be someone you're not. You're not wearing a mask to protect yourself from being judged. You've already made peace with your imperfections. And when someone like that walks into the world notices, even if it doesn't know why. We live in a time where people are drained, stressed, and disconnected. Everyone's looking for a breath of fresh air, something real, grounding, and nourishing. That's what your presence provides. You've cultivated an inner stillness that others crave, even if they don't consciously realize it. It makes them curious. It draws them in. Not because you're trying to impress, but because you found something within yourself that they haven't yet found within themselves. And here's something you need to understand. Your energy is your responsibility. It's your signature. It's your silent power. And when you protect it, nurture it, and let it grow, you become magnetic. Not in an arrogant or loud way, but in an unshakable, unbothered, red way. You stop chasing people, opportunities, or approval. Instead, you become someone others naturally want to be around, not for what you have, but for who you are. People won't always be able to explain what they feel around you. Some will admire you, some may envy you, others might try to test you because they don't understand how you remain calm, composed, and unshaken. But none of that is your burden to carry. Your only job is to continue radiating from the inside out. When your spirit is aligned and your heart is grounded, you don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to chase attention. Your energy will always draw the right people, the right paths, and the right purpose toward you. Because in a noisy world, true power whispers, and people always lean in to hear it. Your calm is a rare superpower. In a world that constantly demands urgency, speed, and noise, your calmness is a rare superpower. People don't always realize it, but they are magnetically drawn to the presence of someone who isn't easily shaken, someone who doesn't panic when things go wrong, someone who doesn't need to prove anything. That someone is you. There's a quiet strength about you that radiates serenity, even in the face of chaos. And that calm didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was earned. It was built through storms you didn't think you'd survive. It was shaped through heartbreaks, betrayals, setbacks, and silent nights where you chose growth instead of resentment. You chose peace over retaliation. You chose stillness instead of drama. That decision, again and again, has shaped you into someone whose calm can't be faked, whose spirit can't be disturbed easily. People are drawn to your calm because it feels like an anchor in a sea of confusion. When they're around you, they feel more settled, more grounded. They might not even realize why, but they leave the conversation with more clarity. Your calmness has a way of bringing things into focus, of reminding people that not everything is an emergency and not every battle is worth fighting. Your calm is not weakness. It's emotional intelligence. It's spiritual maturity. It's the ability to respond instead of react, to observe without absorbing. It's the ability to listen more than you speak, and to understand that not every situation deserves your energy. That kind of power is felt, not spoken. It's not about dominating others, it's about mastering yourself. Let them underestimate you. Let them think you're too quiet, too reserved, too unbothered. What they don't realize is that calm people move with precision. Calm people see what chaos hides. Calm people have clarity, and that clarity gives them an edge that loud, reactive people will never have. While others are busy rushing, panicking, or trying to control everything, you remain grounded, and that presence is priceless. People may not always compliment you on your calm. In fact, they might even test it. But the truth is, deep down, they admire it. They want to feel what you feel. They want to embody what you embody. They want to experience the kind of inner peace that you've cultivated. So don't mistake your calm nature for invisibility. You are seen, you are felt, you are respected. You are remembered. Because in a world addicted to chaos, the one who is calm becomes the compass, and people are drawn to that. They crave it. They need it. Stay grounded. Stay still. And remember, your peace is your power. And the right people will always feel that you reflect what they're missing. Have you ever noticed how people look at you a little longer than usual? How they ask you deep questions, tell you secrets they don't tell anyone else, or even get uncomfortable in your presence without any clear reason. It's not because you're doing anything dramatic. It's because you reflect something they're missing within themselves. You act like a mirror, unintentionally showing people the parts of them they've ignored, abandoned, or long to awaken. When they talk to you, they feel seen, not just heard, but truly seen, and that's rare. Because most people go through life unnoticed, blending in, hiding their real emotions behind masks and routines. But with you, they don't need to pretend, or rather, they can't pretend. Your presence gently exposes their truth. You may not even realize it, but your self-awareness, your emotional depth, and your ability to be authentic stir something inside others. You awaken a sense of longing, a desire to be real, to feel deeply, to be whole. And while that draws people to you, it can also make some uncomfortable, because being around you forces them to confront what they haven't healed or developed within themselves. You remind them of their potential. Your drive reminds them of the goals they've put on hold. Your empathy reminds them of the love they never received or never gave. Your peace reminds them how noisy their own life is. Your confidence, quiet or loud, reflects the insecurities they haven't dealt with yet. And your presence? It reminds them what it feels like to be alive, centered, and human again. This isn't about being better than anyone. It's not arrogance, it's resonance. You carry a frequency that triggers self-reflection in others. That's why people open up to you. That's why they're drawn to your energy, but can't always explain it. They might say, "You're just easy to talk to." Or "You have something about you." Or "I don't know why, but I feel safe with you." That's because your energy isn't surface level, it's soul level. And here's the truth, this kind of energy cannot be faked. It comes from doing the inner work, from facing your shadows, from healing wounds without letting them harden your heart, from knowing your worth but still staying kind, from having the courage to walk away from what doesn't align with your spirit. So yes, people are drawn to you, but it's not just because you're beautiful or smart or funny, it's because you reflect wholeness. You reflect something deeper, something spiritual, something real. And whether they understand it or not, they feel it. They feel you. You vibrate higher without even trying. There's a reason you walk into a room and shift the atmosphere. Why people turn their heads without you saying a word. Why strangers feel comfortable talking to you and friends find themselves uplifted just by being near you. It's not always something you do, it's something you are. Your energy vibrates higher and most people don't even understand why they're drawn to it. But here's the truth, your energy is your frequency and your frequency is your power. This isn't about being loud, flashy, or overly expressive. It's about the quiet confidence you radiate. It's the peace that clings to your spirit. It's the way you don't chase attention, yet attention finds you. Because high vibrational people don't seek validation. They are the validation. You vibrate higher because you've done the internal work. You've learned to detach from drama. You've stepped back from toxic cycles. You've learned to guard your peace. You've cultivated a mindset rooted in growth, not gossip, in faith, not fear. You've chosen to respond instead of react, to walk away instead of lash out. And these choices, made repeatedly and intentionally, have elevated your energy in ways you don't even realize. Most people are still caught in low vibration habits, jealousy, insecurity, complaining, comparison, chaos. But you've risen above it, not because you think you're better, but because you chose to heal. You chose awareness, and that makes your presence powerful. When people feel your energy, they might describe it as calming, uplifting, inspiring, or even mysterious. That's because it doesn't match the noise of the world. It moves differently. It feels like truth. It feels like alignment. And when someone stuck in negativity or confusion encounters your energy, it's like a breath of fresh air they didn't know they needed. You see, you don't even have to speak in. To be impactful, your silence carries weight. Your presence carries intention. Your stillness speaks volumes. And because you don't need to prove yourself to anyone, people naturally become curious. Who is this person? Why do I feel different around them? That curiosity pulls them toward you like a magnet. But let's be honest, not everyone will celebrate your high vibration. Some will misunderstand it. Some will be intimidated by it. Some will even resent it because it exposes their own lack of growth. That's okay. Your energy isn't meant for everyone. It's meant for those who are ready to rise. So don't dim your light just to make others comfortable. Don't lower your vibration to fit into spaces that no longer align. Don't apologize for being sensitive, deep, intuitive, or evolved. That's your superpower. That's why they're drawn to you, even if they don't know why. You vibrate higher without even trying. And in a world full of noise, that kind of energy is rare, sacred, and unforgettable. The power of presence over performance. In today's world, people are constantly told to perform, to impress, to hustle harder, post more, shout louder, to craft a version of themselves that's palatable, clickable, likable. But not you. You don't chase applause. You don't need a stage or spotlight to feel whole. And yet, you're the one who commands attention, not because you perform, but because of your presence. Your presence is different. It's grounded, not frantic. It's calm, not chaotic. It doesn't scream, "Look at me." It whispers, "I know who I am." That kind of energy is magnetic. That kind of self-awareness is rare, and people are pulled toward it, even when they don't understand what they're feeling. You've likely noticed this without even trying. Maybe people confide in you deeply, even though you've only just met. Maybe they follow your lead without questioning why. Maybe they feel safer around you, more hopeful, more at ease. That's the power of your presence. You don't have to overextend, over-explain, or overshare. Your presence speaks for you. People who are deeply rooted don't have to prove anything. You don't try to outshine anyone. You shine naturally because you are aligned. You're not in competition with the world. You're in connection with yourself. And that inner stillness, it carries more weight than all the noise combined. Understand this. Your presence is healing. It's a mirror that shows others what's possible. When they see you living authentically, walking in peace, owning your energy, it stirs something in them. It makes them pause. It wakes up the part of them that wants to grow, to evolve, to break free from the noise they're trapped in. But here's what's important. You don't need everyone to understand you. You don't need a crowd. Your power lies in your alignment, not your popularity. Your consistency, not your clout. You've done the work to become whole, so you no longer rely on others to fill your gaps. You walk into rooms with quiet confidence, and your peace speaks louder than anyone's performance ever could. And people feel that. They feel your authenticity, your boundaries, your grace. They notice the way you carry yourself, not with arrogance, but with assurance. They're drawn to your light, your calm, your self-possession, and it leaves an impression they can't shake, not because you tried to impress them, but because you didn't need to. So if you've ever wondered why people are attracted to you, why they're curious about your energy, why they seem to gravitate toward you, it's because your presence is rare. You are not a product of performance. You are the result of healing, of truth, of self-mastery, and that is unforgettable. You reflect what others are searching for. Have you ever noticed how people sometimes look at you with a mix of admiration, curiosity, and even confusion? It's not because you have something they lack materially, it's because you embody something they haven't yet unlocked within themselves. You reflect a version of themselves they're trying to become, or maybe have forgotten they once were. You walk in truth. You speak with purpose. You radiate self-respect. And whether people realize it consciously or not, they are drawn to you because you represent something powerful. Authenticity in a world full of masks. Most people spend their lives pretending to be confident, to be strong, to be happy. They dress it up in curated photos, over-explaining conversations and exhausting social performances. But when they meet you, it's like their soul takes a deep breath. You don't need to pretend, and that makes them feel safe, even if they don't know why. You've done the internal work. You've faced your wounds, your traumas, your insecurities, and instead of becoming bitter or fake, you became better and real. That evolution changed your energy. You don't chase validation anymore. You don't overextend to be liked. You just show up, real, grounded, whole. That kind of energy is rare. People feel seen around you, not because you say all the right things, but because your energy gives them permission to be honest. You become a mirror, unintentionally revealing the gap between where they are and where they could be. Some will be inspired by that. Some may be intimidated. Others will simply feel comforted in your presence. You see, what draws people to you isn't what you have. It's who you are. You remind people of their potential. You remind them what peace looks like. You reflect strength in silence, power without force, confidence without arrogance. That's why they're drawn to you. Even your stillness speaks volumes. You can walk into a room without saying a word and change the frequency. That's not by accident. That's alignment. That's presence. That's the result of someone who has chosen depth over distraction and meaning over noise. So if people are constantly pulled toward you, if strangers feel familiar, if conversations go deep without warning, it's because your presence is a signal, a frequency, a reflection. You show people what's possible, not by preaching, but by being. And yes, some people won't know how to handle that reflection. They may project their own confusion, their envy, their discomfort, but that's not your burden to carry. Your job is to keep becoming, to keep walking in truth, to keep holding that mirror up, not for their approval, but for their awakening. Because the right ones? They won't just be drawn to you, they'll rise with you. You're not like the rest, and that's why you're magnetic. There's something about you that makes people pause, even if only for a moment. You might not even notice it yourself, but others do. They may not be able to explain it, but they feel it. You walk differently. You speak with more clarity. You listen deeply. You don't operate on the same frequency as everyone else. And that difference, that quiet uniqueness, is your superpower. You see, you don't just follow trends. You set your own standards. You're not moved by the noise of the crowd. You're moved by the quiet conviction inside your spirit. While others are trying to fit in, You're more focused on standing firm in your truth. That kind of inner certainty is rare, and it's magnetic. You're not interested in surface-level connections. You're not chasing attention. You're not trying to impress everyone. And that's exactly why people can't stop watching you. You're not like the rest. You're deeper. You're rooted. You're intentional. You know who you are, and you don't need external permission to be it. Most people are exhausted trying to be everything to everyone. But you've learned that peace comes when you stop performing and start living with purpose. You've let go of the need to prove yourself, and instead, you simply show up as you are, real, raw, and whole. That kind of authenticity is rare in a world that often celebrates the fake. People are drawn to your mystery because you don't overshare. You don't need to broadcast every move. There's power in your silence. There's strength in your privacy. You don't seek validation. You embody self-worth. And that's not arrogance. That's self-awareness. You're magnetic because you don't chase energy. You are the energy. You light up rooms, not because you're loud, but because you're aligned. You attract conversations that matter. You don't engage in drama. You don't compete. Wow. Ow, don't gossip. Your presence alone raises the vibration of every space you enter. People are drawn to you because they sense something different, something steady, something calm, something real. And that's because you've done the work. You've been through storms that could have broken you, but they didn't. They refined you. And now people feel safe near you because your energy says, I've been there and I made it through. So when they don't know why they keep coming back, when they find peace in your presence, when they trust you without knowing why, it's because your soul speaks before your mouth ever does. You carry light, even on your darkest days. And that light, it doesn't scream, it simply shines. Don't ever dim that light to fit into places you've outgrown. Don't minimize your power to make others feel comfortable. You weren't made to blend in. You were made to stand out. You're not like the rest, and that's exactly why the right ones can't help but be drawn to you. You radiate healing energy without saying a word. Have you ever walked into a room and noticed someone visibly relax when they saw you? Or had someone open up to you out of nowhere, revealing pieces of their heart they haven't shared with anyone else? That's not coincidence, that's energy, and yours is healing. You might not be a therapist, a spiritual leader, or a guru, but you hold space like someone who has been through the fire and come out gold. You listen without judging. You make people feel safe just by being around you. Your very presence tells them you're not alone. And here's the truth. This kind of healing energy isn't something you can fake. It's not something you learn in a book. It's forged through pain, through struggle, through silence. You've cried behind closed doors. You've fought battles no one saw. You've healed wounds that once felt too deep to ever close. Now that healing glows through you. You don't have to announce your power. It reveals itself in how you treat others. You offer kindness in a world that has forgotten how to be gentle. You speak truth, but you do it with compassion. You challenge people to grow, but never from a place of superiority, always from love. People feel lighter when they're near you because your energy is pure. It's not clouded by bitterness. It's not driven by ego. You're not trying to fix anyone. You're just being yourself. And ironically, that's exactly what helps others begin to fix themselves. They're drawn to you not because you have all the answers, but because you're not pretending to. You've made peace with your past. You've accepted your imperfections. You've learned that real strength is found in softness, and real wisdom comes from experience, not control. You're the kind of person people remember long after they leave the room. Not because you tried to impress them, but because they felt seen. You ask questions that matter. You give hugs that feel like home. You smile like you understand something deeper, and you do. You understand that pain changes people, but healing transforms them. You've lived both. That's why your presence feels like a breath of fresh air to those suffocating in a world full of noise. You don't add to the chaos. You offer calm. That's why people trust you. That's why strangers are drawn to you. They can feel the difference between someone who talks about healing and someone who is healing. So don't underestimate your impact. You don't need a stage to be powerful. You don't need a spotlight to shine. Your light heals and your energy restores. Keep being that gentle warrior. Keep holding space. Keep radiating from the inside out. Because in a world full of people screaming to be seen, you quietly remind them that it's okay to just be. And that kind of soul, that kind of spirit, it's unforgettable. Your presence is a mirror. It reflects what others need to see. One of the most powerful and sometimes most misunderstood parts of your energy is this. Your presence acts like a mirror. You reflect people back to themselves. And this is why some people are magnetically drawn to you, while others feel challenged or even uncomfortable in your presence, because you reveal what they may not be ready to confront. You don't need to say a word. Just by being who you are, you show people what they're missing in themselves. You reflect their light, but you also reflect their shadows. You make them feel hopeful, but you can also make them feel exposed. And that's not a bad thing. You bring truth to the surface. You don't even try to. It's just in you. You carry such raw authenticity that it naturally causes people to look inward. Your calmness makes their chaos loud. Your peace makes their anxiety noticeable. Your self-worth makes their insecurity impossible to ignore. That's not your fault. That's your gift. You're the kind of person who doesn't wear masks, and because of that, you challenge those who do. You force people, without even trying, to ask themselves the real questions. Who am I when no one's watching? What parts of myself have I been hiding? Why do I feel like I can't be that free, that grounded, that whole? And because of this, some people will be drawn to you like moths to a flame. They'll crave your energy. They'll want to be near you, to learn from you, to experience the clarity and stillness you seem to carry effortlessly. Others, however, might feel triggered by you. They might pull away, not because you've done anything wrong, but because being near you brings up things they've avoided for too long. Understand this. Your presence exposes what needs to be healed. This is a sacred role and not an easy one. It takes strength to keep showing up as yourself in a world that wants to water you down. But don't dim your light to make others more comfortable. Don't silence your truth to keep the peace. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to awaken, to activate, to remind people of what they've forgotten, that they too have light, purpose, worth, and power. Your presence isn't just beautiful, it's transformational. And the reason people are drawn to you without even knowing why is because, deep down, they're longing for a deeper connection with themselves, with truth, with something real. You represent that. You may not always get thanked, you may not always be understood, but know this. Every time you show up as your full true self, you give others permission to do the same. So don't stop reflecting. Don't stop being the mirror. Because sometimes the greatest gift you can give someone is the truth of who they really are. And you embody that truth silently, powerfully, and unapologetically. You carry a spiritual assignment. Even if you don't know it yet, you may think you're just going through life, doing your best. But the truth is, your energy, your presence, your voice, none of it is random. You carry a spiritual assignment. Something higher has been placed inside you, and people are drawn to it, even if they can't put it into words. There's something divine about the way you show up. Not because you're perfect, not because you have all the answers, but because you move with a certain awareness, a quiet wisdom that seems to pierce through the noise of this world. That's not something you learned. That's something you were born with, a calling, a sacred responsibility. You're the kind of person who brings light into rooms that are dark. You bring peace to places that feel heavy. You carry compassion that melts even the hardest hearts. And this isn't by accident, it's by divine design. You're not just here to exist, you're here to awaken others. That's why some people feel comfort just by sitting near you. That's why strangers tell you their life stories within minutes. That's why your advice hits deeper than you realize. You carry healing, you carry truth, you carry presence. And whether you know it or not, you're on assignment every single day. You don't need a platform, a stage, or a spotlight to make an impact. Your impact is in your essence, in how you treat people, in the energy you leave behind, in the way you show others it's okay to be vulnerable, real, raw, and powerful all at once. But here's the thing. Carrying a spiritual assignment isn't always easy. It can feel lonely, heavy, misunderstood. You might question why you always seem to be the strong one, the grounded one, the one others lean on. You might wonder when it's your turn to be held. Just know this. The universe never gives an assignment to someone not equipped to carry it. The reason you have been through what you've been through, the reason you feel things so deeply, the reason your intuition is so loud, it's all preparation. Preparation for the role you didn't even realize you've been living all along. You are someone's turning point, someone's reminder that hope still exists, someone's confirmation that authenticity hasn't gone extinct, and someone's inspiration to rise when they're tempted to stay down. Your spiritual assignment may not always make sense. It may feel invisible, but the people who are drawn to you, they feel it. They're being called to your light, not just for who you are, but for what you awaken in them. So don't downplay your energy. Don't hide your light. Don't water down your truth to make it easier to digest. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs your original soul, walking fully in your calling, even if you don't have all the answers yet. You are here for more. And the ones who are drawn to you, they're not just following a person. They're responding to purpose. Your light is meant to guide others, but you must protect it. You are a light in a world that often feels dark. You carry a frequency, a purity, a presence that many people don't understand, but they feel it. They may not say it, but they sense your spirit before you ever speak a word. That's why they're drawn to you. That's why they keep coming back. That's why you're unforgettable. But with that kind of light comes responsibility. And more importantly, protection. Because not everyone who is drawn to your light is meant to hold it. Some are just attracted to your glow, but have no intention of honoring it. Some are pulled in by the peace you radiate, only to try and take it for themselves. And some don't even know why they want to be close to you. They just know they feel better in your presence. And while it's beautiful to shine for others, you must also be wise. Being the light doesn't mean being available to everyone. It doesn't mean letting people drain you, disrespect you, or dim you. It doesn't mean being the healer who never heals herself. You see, one of the greatest traps for people with a spiritual presence is the belief that they must always be giving, always serving, always fixing. But that's not balance, that's burnout. That's martyrdom disguised as kindness. That's the beginning of losing yourself while trying to save everyone else. You were not called to rescue, you were called to guide, to illuminate, to plant seeds of truth and walk away when needed. Sometimes your role is to shine from a distance, not to be consumed up close. Protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. Guard your peace like it's rare, because it is. Set boundaries like your purpose depends on it, because it does. There's a reason certain people feel lighter after being around you. There's a reason they open up to you without knowing why. You're not just easy to talk to, you're spiritually gifted. You carry empathy in your eyes. You carry warmth in your voice. You carry presence in your silence. You make people feel seen, heard, held. That's powerful, but it can also be dangerous when you give it to the wrong people. Some will confuse your softness with weakness. Some will test your kindness like it's naivety. And some will try to take your light because they don't know how to create their own. That's why discernment is your greatest tool. Don't give your soul to people who only want your glow. Being a light is not about fixing broken people. It's about walking in your truth so powerfully that others remember their own. So keep shining, but stay guarded. Keep giving, but only to those who pour back into you. Keep loving, but not at the expense of yourself. You were never meant to be dimmed. You are here to lead, to awaken, and to illuminate paths for others, but only if you protect the flame that makes all of that possible. You are becoming who you were always meant to be. You may not realize it yet, but you are in the middle of becoming. Not becoming someone new, but returning to who you were always meant to be before the world told you otherwise. You are shedding expectations, peeling away old identities, and releasing attachments that no longer serve your growth. You are no longer settling. You are no longer performing. You are no longer apologizing for your presence. This is your becoming season, and it's powerful. There's something sacred about the quiet transformation that happens within. It's not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it looks like saying no more often. Sometimes it's crying in silence and choosing not to give up. Sometimes it's walking away from everything familiar so you can find your truth. And other times, it's simply realizing your worth and refusing to explain it to people who can't see it. This season isn't easy. Growth rarely is. The truth is, becoming requires a death, the death of who you used to be. The version of you that accepted less. The version of you that doubted herself. The version of you that gave endlessly and asked for nothing in return. That version is gone, or at least on her way out. In her place is someone wiser, stronger, sharper, someone who understands her value, someone who no longer begs for acceptance because she accepts herself, someone who no longer waits to be chosen because she chooses herself daily. People around you may not understand this shift. Some will say you've changed, and they're right. You've evolved, you've elevated, you've grown into the fullness of your spirit. And that kind of growth makes people uncomfortable when they're still stuck in old patterns. But don't shrink to make them feel safe. Don't apologize for the fire you've earned through every storm you survived. You are rising into your calling. You are stepping into your authority. You are walking in alignment with who God created you to be. And even when it feels lonely, even when it feels unfamiliar, trust this path. Trust that every loss had purpose, every silence had meaning, every delay was protection, and every pain was a teacher. People are drawn to you now because your energy is different. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer beg, you receive. You no longer force connections, you align with them. You've done the inner work, and now the outer shifts are reflecting that. But here's the truth most won't tell you. Becoming isn't a destination, it's a daily decision. A decision to keep choosing peace over chaos, growth over comfort, purpose over popularity, and faith over fear. So keep going, keep healing, keep rising. You may not have all the answers, but you have something even more powerful: clarity, courage, and conviction. You're no longer who you were, and you're not yet who you'll fully become. But you are right where you're supposed to be. In the sacred, unstoppable middle of transformation, you are becoming, and the world can feel it. You no longer need to be understood, you just need to be aligned. For most of your life, you've probably tried to explain yourself, tried to justify why you think the way you do, why you feel so deeply, why you care so intensely, why you see the world differently. You've tried to make people understand your heart, your motives, your silence, your intuition, and many times, it didn't work. Let this be the season you stop needing to be understood. You are not here to be explained. You are here to be experienced. Your light is not meant to be dissected. It's meant to be felt. And the people who are truly aligned with your purpose, your vibration, your soul, they will feel you without needing to figure you out. They will understand you in ways words cannot describe. The truth is, some people will never see you clearly because they are clouded by their own limitations. They can't understand your clarity because they're still confused about their own path. They can't understand your peace because they're still at war with themselves. And they can't understand your power because they've spent their life trying to avoid theirs. So why exhaust yourself trying to fit into someone's narrative of who they think you should be? Alignment is not about forcing people to understand you. It's about trusting that the right people will. You're no longer in the business of convincing anyone of your worth. That's not pride. It's maturity, it's spiritual intelligence, it's growth. People are drawn to you now because you walk in that quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't need a spotlight, the kind that doesn't beg for applause, the kind that doesn't need validation because it comes from within. That's what alignment looks like. When you are aligned, your energy speaks before you do. You stop chasing people who drain you. You stop showing up to places where you're only tolerated. You stop giving pieces of yourself away in the name of being liked. Instead, you become rooted in who you are. And from that place of truth, you begin to attract what was always meant for you. Alignment will cost you something. It might cost you relationships you thought would last forever. It might cost you jobs, habits, or environments that no longer fit. But it will give you something even greater: freedom, flow, and fulfillment. You no longer need to beg to be seen. You see yourself. You no longer need to explain why you walk the way you walk or talk the way you talk. Your life is the explanation. Your peace is the proof. Your joy is the testimony. You were never meant to be understood by everyone because your path isn't for everyone. But to the ones who are meant to walk with you, to grow with you, to rise with you. They will recognize your energy instantly. They won't question it. They'll feel it, and they'll meet you where you are. Because in the end, alignment is louder than explanation. And where there is alignment, there is destiny. You are the mirror. People see themselves in you. One of the deepest, often unspoken reasons people are drawn to you is this. You reflect something inside them they haven't fully acknowledged yet. You become a mirror, not of who they are on the surface, but of who they could be. And while that can inspire some, it can also intimidate others. When you carry light, confidence, wisdom, and peace, it reveals to others what they've been hiding from. Your presence has the power to awaken things in people. Some will feel healed by you. Others will feel exposed. Some will want to learn from your strength. Others may try to tear it down, not because you've done anything wrong, but because they're not ready to see what you reflect back. You remind people of what's possible, of how they could live more truthfully, more freely, more courageously. And that's not always comfortable for them. When someone hasn't done the inner work, your authenticity becomes a challenge to their pretense. Your healing confronts their unhealed wounds. Your clarity unsettles their confusion. That's why some people will be magnetized by your presence. They'll feel safe around you. They'll feel seen, understood, accepted without needing to pretend. These are the people who feel like they can breathe around you. They're not drawn to your perfection. They're drawn to your realness. Your light doesn't blind them. It helps them see. But then there will be others. People who feel discomfort in your presence. People who criticize you, avoid you, or try to dim your shine. Not because there's something wrong with you, but because there's something stirring within them. You're holding up a mirror, and they're not ready to face what's being reflected. You need to understand this deeply. How people respond to your energy is not always about you. It's about where they are in their journey. You can be the kindest, most gross, undid, most loving person in the room and still trigger someone who hasn't found peace within themselves. That's not your burden to carry. Your responsibility is to remain the mirror without breaking yourself to fit others' comfort zones. You don't have to dim your light for people to feel safe. You don't have to shrink yourself to be accepted. You don't have to carry guilt for how others react to your growth. Being a mirror means you'll inspire some and disturb others, and that's okay. That's part of the gift. That's part of the calling. People are drawn to you because your presence carries something real, something rare. You reflect truth, and the world is starving for it, even if it doesn't always know how to receive it. Don't let reactions confuse you. You are not here to be understood by all. You're here to be a light to those who are ready to wake up. So stand in that truth. Be the mirror. Reflect the possibility of healing, peace, courage, and freedom. And let whoever is meant to be transformed by your reflection come closer. Own the energy you carry. The world needs it. So now you know. It's not in your looks. It's not in your words. It's not in anything you try to do. It's in who you are. And most importantly, it's in what you carry. Your energy speaks before you enter the room. Your spirit lingers even after you leave. People are drawn to you not because of what's on the outside, but because of what radiates from within. You carry depth in a shallow world. You carry truth in a time where lies are easy to sell. You carry healing in a generation full of unresolved pain. You carry peace, even though you've walked through storms. And that is rare. That is powerful. That is why people can't quite put their finger on what it is about you. They just know. They feel something when they're around you. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are here to awaken, to inspire, to reflect, and sometimes, just by your presence, to disrupt the illusions people live behind. And that is not a burden. That is a gift. It means you are walking in alignment with something higher, something sacred. Don't water yourself down to fit into places that were never built to hold your magnitude. The world is full of people trying to chase popularity, trying to impress, trying to be liked. But your power lies in the fact that you don't chase, you attract. You don't pretend, you radiate. And when people are drawn to you, it's not because of what you say or what you wear. It's because your energy touches a part of them they may not even understand yet. And yes, not everyone will celebrate that. Some will misunderstand you, some will walk away, some will even envy what they sense in you. But that's not your responsibility. Your only job is to stay true to who you are, to keep growing, glowing, healing, and shining, to protect your peace, hold your boundaries, and walk in your truth. You were not born to blend in. You were born to be a light in a dark world. So stop questioning your power. Stop apologizing for your presence. Stop dimming your light just because it's too bright for some people. If they can't handle your radiance, let them shade their eyes. But don't you dare dim down. The people who are meant to walk with you will recognize your light. They'll meet you in truth. They'll feel peace in your presence, and they'll never make you question your worth. So here's your final reminder. You are magnetic. You are powerful. You are rare. And your energy is not a mistake. It's your message. If this message awakened something inside you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Let someone else be reminded of their power too. And remember this, the ones who feel you are the ones meant to find you. Shine anyway. Because the world doesn't need more copies. It needs more souls who dare to be real.